Good morning, my dear friends. How are you all today? On this fine morning, when the gifts of God come to us in a wonderful way, we praise and thank the Lord for this day He has given us to look into our lives in a new way. It is very interesting how people perceive reality. We always have a lens to look at things, not the reality as it is. This is the difference. When Westerners talk about third world countries, especially India, some of them who had never been to India still think there are snakes on the street, elephants going everywhere. This is a perspective of Indian reality which is not the true reality. They are looking from the lens of what they have already studied or heard or seen in pictures, in movies. From that perspective, they look at India. But the reality of India today has changed dramatically. That is why we need to think about what kind of world view I have through which I look into everything. Why I look into certain things very precisely and why I don't really get anything out of certain other things. I tend to ignore or neglect or overlook certain realities of life because of the worldview we have. It is formed from our childhood through our interaction with culture, with people. We all have our own worldview. When Francis of Assisi said, I am going to embrace the lady poverty, he meant it. He literally adopted the worldview of the gospel to be like Jesus, to live in poverty. But this worldview makes a huge difference in our daily life. How do we interact with people, with the realities of life? It may sound abstract, but it is not. A lot of things we jump to judgment happens because we have a particular worldview already strongly rooted in our mind and heart. It is strongly built up in us. So it is not something coming from outside. It is already in us. So unless this worldview is completely transformed by the gospel and the truth of Christ, there is no true conversion. Like, you go to your room or your house, in a living room, you rearrange the room, rearrange the furnitures and the pictures. Do you think that is a change? That is only a superficial change or artificial, or what do you call a change that is not a real change. That is exactly what will happen unless our worldview, how we perceive things, how we live our life, everything is determined by what we have as a strong worldview. There are three things that form the worldview: the image of ourselves, the image of God we have, the image of the world. These three images in us need to be changed and touched by the true values of the gospel, the true insights Christ gave to us about life, about our relationship, about our interaction with the material world and life. Unless these three images are deeply informed by the true worldview of Christ, nothing will change. There is no conversion. So when Jesus talks about the coming of God's kingdom in our midst, he is about changing the lens with which we look into life, how we want to live our life, how we want to interact with everyone. That if that needs to change, then we have to go to the roots of our life and change the images of ourselves about God and of our world. And if you sincerely think of conversion during Lent, think about this basic change in your life. Do I allow my life to be touched by the gospel? Is there anything need to be changed in my life and how I look into the world? You all have a wonderful day. God bless you.